Okay, so everyone's talking about the new Canon R3 and the development announcement that came out, so I'm not going to touch on that heavily today. Instead, I'm going to get on to the Tilta Float. But since everyone else is talking about the R3, let me hit a few quick bullet points on that. First of all, it's just a development announcement that came out. We don't know all the details, or really, I would say at this point, any of the details about the new Canon, because all of these things may be subject to change at a later date. We don't even know, by the way, when that later date may be. Some are speculating it'll be for the Olympics, but we don't know. There's been no confirmation either way from Canon, so let's keep that at that. Now, getting to the specs, I think we only really know 3 specs that have been revealed by Canon. One is it will shoot 30 frames per second. That's good. 2, that it will utilize, well, let me make that 4 specs. It would utilize dual pixel autofocus. We were all hoping, of course, to see the emergence of quad pixel autofocus finally show its head, but apparently this will also utilize dual pixel autofocus, although I am told a new variation on that. So whatever that means, I have no idea. The other thing we know is that it would use a brand new in-house developed stack sensor by Canon. So what does that promise to do? Faster rolling shutter is essentially what it promises to do. I'm figuring it should be at least in the 7 millisecond speed, but maybe even faster. Maybe this will be the quickest rolling shutter we've ever seen. I believe it recently came out on CineD that they had done a test, a rolling shutter test in their lab test of the Arri cameras, and they were clocking in at somewhere around about 7 and change milliseconds for their rolling shutter. So if we can get anywhere near those speeds, you can expect a motion cadence similar to what those Arris can put out, which is pretty impressive. Would it need to be full-on global shutter? Well, if it's that fast, I would suggest to you maybe not. And from using the camera I'm recording on now, which is the Sony FX6, and having also have extensive time with the Sony A7S III, I can tell you that a fast rolling shutter is near as good as global shutter. So there's that. The other thing that we know about this camera, and this is last but not least, is it will have a new kind of autofocus detection. And instead of utilizing buttons on the back or simply tapping the screen or even using some sort of scrolly type mouse thumb thing, it is instead going to utilize eye focus point detect autofocus. I don't know what they're going to call it, but the point is it's going to use your pupil to determine where you're looking and then put the focus point at that location. So in theory, this is going to be really quite amazing. I don't know, we'll have to see how it pans out in practice. Earlier on the Canon EOS 5, that camera also had a similar system, but of course we're looking at more than 20 years ago. So the technology has surely moved on from then, and they've also said that it's going to utilize AI technology, so we can expect that this is going to be the best iteration. Am I looking forward to this camera? Hesitantly, yes, no, maybe. I have no idea. And the reason I have no idea is because, as you know, I do a lot of video stuff. And doing a lot of video stuff, I would have loved for Canon to at least say, hey, this is going to shoot some video. But look at the front of the camera. I cannot even see a place on this image. Tell me, am I wrong? Tell me in the comments. Do you see a place for a microphone? Is there a hole anywhere on this camera for a microphone? I don't see it. So it has me speculating that maybe it doesn't even shoot video. I know that sounds crazy. All cameras today shoot video. They're all hybrids, right? But where's the microphone hole? So maybe if it shoots video, video is merely an afterthought. It will have some token video features, but nothing that would excite us. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping this is the best Canon video / hybrid ever created. And if it is, great. That'd be wonderful. But we'll have to wait and see. And we'll find out. I don't know when we'll find out. So that's all I'm going to do on that. The other thing I want to touch on is Tilta recently came out with a new piece of hardware they call the Float system. Now the Tilta Float system is essentially a camera stabilization system, and it's very similar to, I believe Arri has a similar system called the Arri Orbit. Don't hold me to that name. I may be wrong. I don't seriously dwell on the Arri Orbit because it's astronomically expensive and way beyond the capabilities that I would need for the few things that I do. So that said, it's a similar system, it would seem, at least on the surface, it's very similar to what that does in functionality and in the results that it produces. This system I ordered some time ago, several months ago, and it got here. It got here a while ago. And I haven't really been speaking much about it. I was initially excited, really, really hyped to come out here and tell you all about it. But then I used it. And in all honesty, I didn't have the best experiences. And this is why. So I've come outside briefly to show you this, which is actually a stabilization vest for basically a steady arm kind of deal. So this will bounce up and down as the camera is moving. And I'm showing you this because this arm, you see how this is connected here? This is the way, well, this is the way it used to be done. And this would have a counterweight on the bottom. Now, this kind of vest won't allow you to do those fancy maneuvers whereby you can swing your camera upside down and do all of those things, but it does give you a fairly steady outcome when you're using it. So I wanted to show you this because I've got a replacement for it. This is the Tilta Float. Actually, the full system connected here. And it really does do an amazing job at balancing out the load of the camera. I have to say, it's probably one of the best systems I've ever used. And when you have a rig on here, it really does make the whole thing quite easy to get a steady shot with. It removes, virtually eliminates all of this up and down motion that you would normally have when you are shooting and walking. But that said, even now just holding this thing, the weight starts to really fatigue you, and it does it very quickly. So again, for full effect, this is the Tilta Float. This is the full vest arrangement. It's probably one of the best stabilizers for the money available. If you are one of the people that can actually bear the weight of it and your back won't be fatigued by it, because from what I've seen, everyone that uses this thing, their back just gets totally exhausted and it makes the whole thing quite untenable. So now if you look at this older design of vest actually has the support pivot, the point where it's connected is in the front of the vest. It's a front weighted type vest. And then you have straps that go over your shoulders to take some of that weight and pull it up here. And this kind of vest you can wear for, well, you can wear it for extended periods of time, I think, and in relative comfort. So this is one design. If you look on the new one, on the new Tilta Float, they've adopted a far different design. So as you can see, the Tilta Float had a lot of potential, but because of what I'm going to say is inherent design flaws, it just didn't pan out to be what it should. And with that, I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you next time.